Today's tea time topic is the Eye of God. I like being dramatic. Which is the galactic center, if you don't know. That's what we call it, the Eye of God. The galactic center is the center in which our galaxy is orbiting. All of our planets, all the stars are all orbiting this galactic center. All right? And in astrology, we do look at the galactic center and where it is in a person's birth chart, because to me it has fascinating consequences. If you have a lot of energy around the galactic center in your birth chart, it's my belief that you are here specifically on a mission for God's Spirit. And that's because these parts of yourself are aligned with the galactic center. These parts of your story are aligned with the galactic center. And that means that you have aligned this life with the cause of everything. All right. Now, from a more specific interpretation or astrological, before 2012, the galactic center was at 26 degrees Sagittarius. And in the Mayan shift, as we call it here as Lightwalkers, it moved to step 27 Sagittarius, 27 degrees. Now, my interpretation of that is we went from an 8 to a 9 in my step astrology system, which means we were deciding up until 2012, step 26, and after 2012, the Mayan shift, it was step 27, time to go, time to move forward, time to act. And what is it time to act on? It's time to act on, well, the high 20s or master degrees of Sagittarius, which means it's time to act on our highest good from what we know as our culture. The high degrees, those highest degrees of Sagittarius, that is the collective consciousness of our entire culture. And that means that it's time to move forward now with the needs of the collective consciousness of our entire culture. We were deciding it was important up until 2012, and now it's time to go. In my opinion, that galactic center step change, okay, is the go from God for the age of Aquarius. At that point, it's like, all right, go. You know, like up until then, it might have been futile. You know what I mean? I don't think it was worth it. We were basically still deciding that humanity was worth it, but now it's time to go. Now, I bring all this up for a lot of fun reasons. One is because we have Mars approaching the galactic center right now in Sagittarius. So we are about to be strummed, if you will, of these light walking orders. You know, light walking orders in the sense of according to how the entire, aligning our culture with the entire universe and building a culture based on what we know to the highest degree of Sagittarius. We're not a young species. We need to collect our data now and learn from our mistakes, like hurting, polluting, all these things. We know better. It doesn't take a religion anymore. Humans can come together. So I think there's different parts of this. But I think there's even more. I think that it really is the eye of God. I think from an energetic perspective, if I was Egyptian or whatever, that's what I would look at as important, although the Egyptians actually looked at Sirius and a bunch of other stars. But I would always look at that as important, what's going on in that area, what planets are in that area, because that is God mission happening or not. So Saturn is in Sagittarius for the first time in 30 years. It was in Sagittarius in the 80s. It's every 29 and a half years in Sagittarius. So Saturn is basically on approach for the galactic center. And Mars is going to be crossing the galactic center here very shortly. So this is a energetic marching order, basically, of energy that seems to be that it's now time for us to mature as our culture and as our race. Now, you might ask, and I've answered this question before, well, why didn't we mature in the 80s? Why didn't we mature the time before that in the 50s? Why? And the answer is we actually did. We've been onion layering, maturing for a long time like this. And each time you find culture does mature just a little bit. This time, however, the galactic center is at step 27. Up until now, Saturn has crossed it at 26, a stop and decide. But 27 is go. So this is the first Saturn crossing of the galactic center, with it being step 27. This is the first, this is after, Pluto went through Sagittarius and Pluto crossed the galactic center. And that was between 2006 and 2010-11. Okay, getting my Pluto dates down there. Yep, that's correct. I had to think about it like 4 times. Pluto moves so slow. So the point is that we've had our galactic center open. We have a go this time. We've had Pluto clean it out. We've had Saturn scrape it off, and now Saturn is on approach to that galactic center, and Mars is about to strum it. In fact, Mars hits it on September 22nd, just after Mercury goes direct. Mars crosses the galactic center, so it's like a boom, boom, boom. It's almost like drums start beating. Now, I'll leave you with this, which is why it's so exciting. So many of my personal readings in the last summer, over the summer, were people who have a lot of galactic center activity in their chart. In other words, they've already aligned their life on a mission for God and Spirit and the highest good of humanity. It's already a calling. This is why I was saying the story you were born to live is beginning to happen now. And some light walkers here totally promised God's Spirit that they would be their brightest at this time, and so they're aligned. Being aligned means, I think, you cosmically will find yourself, karmically find yourself, in the right place, right time, strange situations. And you will know, and you probably already do know. I mean, every client that I say has this, they're like, I know. It's like, wow, I'm impressed that they know that they're so aware they're here on a mission for God. You know what I mean? Like, and, these are people that watch my show, not, people who are climbing up the religious ladder somewhere. So a lot of us are being called right now. A lot of us are being called to our feet. A lot of us, it's time to step forward. I did a Lightwalker address about this. Well, you're going to start to feel that beat, that drum really start to beat now. And we're going to start to feel that calling.